Hey fam. So yeah, there's today has been quite the operation. I don't know if it's a date, a blood moon, or what, but the Almighty has helped me significantly, and again shares the blessing of love with me. There's a hummingbird that's been hanging out about here. Probably can't see it. Um, so those agents left over there. And then little do I notice, I get up and there's a guy right across over there, just staring straight ahead. You know, as you can see, this park has a lot of places that you can go. But this guy just seems to love, I mean, they love to have a line of sight. They like to have a straight line of sight. So, he's been there for a good like 10, 15 minutes straight. Um, I like the birds also, but and I'm not trying to tell people what to do. I'm just saying, from my observations, it's a lot more than just, you know. Oh, there's a hummingbird. Hey, if you can see it. Isn't nature beautiful? Um, Now, I was mentioning the Jinn earlier, and noticed telling you how they're smart. They're smart creatures, and so when they do an operation, you know, they will put their tech into things that look commonplace, or they'll be completely hidden. Um, you know, like the coin detectors, the metal detectors on the beach. I used to be regularly harassed. Oh my gosh, look! Oh, there must be something sweet in here. There must be some type of flower that he's enjoying. I don't see what it is, but he's in there somewhere. Hey, hey. Hope all is well. Aren't they beautiful? They're beautiful creatures. A tiny little thing. Whoa. um, so the Jinn will use props. That way, if you're suspecting anything, it looks like they're actually doing something normal. And in fact, they might be doing something normal. Um, it's kind of like spying. You know, um, you might hand over a pen to someone that might have a hidden microphone and camera in it. And to believe that this stuff is impossible, all you gotta do is watch a spy movie or something like that, read a spy book, and see what they've been up to. Which is basically the circumventing of every law imaginable. So he looks like he's fishing over there, um, you know, uh, which may be the case. However, when it comes to the surveillance state and harassment, they they like they will they will stoop to the lowest of the low. They will make their agents do whatever it takes, and that includes, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't matter how low it is. It doesn't matter what it is. They will do it. Um, I really didn't think that this is a place you can fish. There might be some small fish in here. Oh, now he's setting off fireworks. So today is one of those days where You know, the Jinn are showing, starting to show who they real. Like, some people say that this is kind of prophecy, where they'll start coming out and making themselves much more apparent. Um, for me, I've dealt with him for quite some time. For example, you can see he has kind of a big belly on him. I'm not saying that everyone who has a big belly has one of these things in them, but I've experienced many a time when these chubby white guys, are around. They usually have some type of entity inside of them, um, and some type of tech, some type of entity, maybe a reptoid entity, some type of parasitic entity that they use to enhance themselves, hence their ability to manipulate and communicate with the Jinn and these other negative entities. Things are good though. The greatest one came and helped. You know, uh, it's definitely a good thing. I was in a very bad mood. They kept pushing stuff into me, and I started off with in a very good mood, and then it just kind of they'll hit you with something, and you won't even know it. You won't be paying attention, and it will cause quite a stir. And you know, I figure there's going to be a growth period of time when they're going to be very unwilling to let go, and this is what it's kind of to me. This is what it's kind of like. It's almost like an ex-girlfriend. I mean, or ex-boyfriend, whoever, and you want to break up, and they're just unwilling to let go, knowing that the controller that was that had me in the system, Ethan Priel, he's a psychopath. So, I mean, I remember when he got divorced from his ex-wife Noah, he was in complete delusion. He was having a complete delusion of, he was. I'm not going to discuss what they did in their marriage, um, but it wasn't all good. All right. If you can see, if you understand that he is a psychotic controller, Ashkenazi, working with the Jinn and reptilians, you can imagine the shit that he's probably up to. I'm talking probably ritual sacrifices, and she probably found out about it or might have been a part of it and wanted out. And he was just, and for me, I did have one conversation with her that might be okay to talk about, and she explained that his intimacy was never there. And in a relationship, you've got to have intimacy. That's a part of the love. If you can't be intimate, then it's usually it's bad. That's a good sign. You might be dating a psychopath. If they're unable to become intimate, either they've had some real issues that need to be addressed, and you need to go see a psychologist or a spiritual teacher for But this man was unwilling to admit his wrongdoings and unwilling to admit that there was a problem, and just enjoyed the status quo. Was very happy doing his thing. Pretty sure. And he's one of those guys that might have several families around, because my ex-wife was his first family. He had a son and daughter with one woman, and then he had a whole nother family in Israel. And so the woman and both women ain't had, from the first wife, ain't have nothing good to say. I mean, in fact, every time I met her, all she did was complain about him. I mean, she would complain about him and her mother. but definitely no good words. Talked about how he was incredibly controlling and deceitful and evil, and like controlling the way people eat, controlling um, what type of candy the kids ate. All, but that's a normal thing. But I've experienced it myself. He's very obnoxiously controlling about things, um, and just didn't want to go away, and was very childish at the same time, which I found strange. Like would drag us somewhere that no one wanted to go, and we're all adults. Drag us somewhere that no one wanted to go, and then force us to sit there while he got high and passed out while we had nothing to do because he wanted to go and hang out with his friends. Just very narcissistic, sadistic behavior. And I experienced it with my mother, where you could care less about how you felt about anything, but was somehow thought that their happiness was your happiness. Like because they were happy, then somehow through osmosis, you're now happy. I had to deal with this man, and acting like a crazy person half the time, like driving 800 miles an hour with a baby, and his family on top of a mountain with no railing, just being completely unsafe and scaring people, doing things like that. Even when it came to like hashish, like he was a major dealer of it. And I told him specifically that I wanted some when I got there, and refused to give me any, even though I gave him the money for it. Refused to give me any until I finally got his wife, his ex-wife now, to yell at him about it. And he finally gave it to me. I was there for a good 3 or 4 days bumming off of Noah and them before I was like, Ethan, why don't you just... And he just wouldn't do it. And like disciplining his children in front of me. Now his kids were, a little bit younger than us, but definitely like 18, 19. And in Israel, you go to the army at that point in time. You're forced to go to the army. Basically indoctrination. And so these are adults, and they're talking back, and he smacks them in the head. And I remember one time he smacked his son in the head super hard, right in front of me, and then stared at me for a little bit. And another time he had just had sex with his wife, and he comes out in his towel, all heated up and all steaming hot and red, and is just staring at me. At that point, I didn't understand what was going on, to be honest with you. I had no idea what was really going on, but he did. He did. Anyway, so I'm realizing that these creatures are having a separation issue. If I've personally experienced what it's like to be under their household, their control, under their grip. All right, and it's really like the blob has gotten into your hair, into your nostrils, into your butt, into your everything, and it's going to take an act of the greatest one to remove them, because they're in it, and you can't pull them off, you can't clean them off, they just keep on coming. And so this is basically what I'm dealing with, and I can be more explanative, whatever the term is. But you're dealing with entities that don't understand the meaning of no, and they lack morals, and they don't live by any rules. So you have to understand that, they will come up on you and shoot fireworks and act like they're fishing while they're brain scanning you and doing other nasty things. So, and yes, a lot of them are Israeli. That's probably what some of their families come from. All right, peace out, fam.